He knows I'm horrible with that. We're going? What's going on, everybody? Just want to thank you for logging on and watching this on Facebook Live tonight. It is an extreme pleasure for me to be here. I'm from New Jersey, and we're recording right now from what I think one of the best shops in New Jersey to be is. And I was talking with this guy for almost a year pre-pandemic. We were going to set up an event, and the pandemic hit, and whatever happened, happened. And now finally we're here at the launch event of Los Caidos at Main Street Cigars, M-A-N-E, on 53 Main Street in Woodbridge. And I'm here with the guy that runs the whole show, Alex Martinez. And I really wanted him to talk about his place here because he's doing a lot of phenomenal things. We're recording actually in part of his new space. But that's going to be, without further ado, on my end. Let me turn it over to here. First, Alex, let me say thank you so much for deciding to bring Los Caidos in. I'm very humbled by it.
You keep thanking me, but I'm the one that's thanking you. Thank you for coming here and doing this broadcast from our great lounge. And just the fact that you would have us here, we're united in the same basic cause of helping our brothers and sisters, first responders, and you've taken this by the proverbial bull by the horn, and you've done a great job, and it's our pleasure to have you here, our pleasure to carry your cigars, and we look forward to a long road ahead of us. This will be the first of many. This is supposed to be the quiet room where we are either quiet or you play poker, so now it's a broadcast studio. It's great.
That's awesome. Thank you. Alex, talk to the folks a little bit about your background and why the cigar resonated with you and how we kind of hit it off.
So I'm a retired captain from the Newark Police Department after 25 years of service, and the equivalent amount of time, 25 years smoking cigars. It just, whenever somebody's out there to help the men and women in blue or the men and women in red or green, doesn't matter, first responders, military, when anybody's there to help them, I'm in. That's without saying. So being a member of Smoking Shields, we had spoken before, and we found common ground where we can join together, join our forces. So we're having not only this podcast, it's a Smoking Shields meeting, and this is going to be broadcast all over the place. And people that normally might not have had any exposure to Main Street Cigars are going to get it. Same thing, people learn about Los Caidos, and it's a win-win situation for everybody.
Yeah, I agree. And what's really helpful is that you're about 500 feet from the state PBA office, so that'll be awesome. And I loved seeing one of the guys that's going to come a little bit later. I was really happy to see him join Smoking Shields tonight as well. So that was pretty cool because we got all the heavies in the house here tonight.
Yeah, we have the president of the STFA here.
I saw Wayne. Wayne's a great guy.
Here, great guy. We look forward to this space evolving and becoming the showcase for 24/7 access lounges.
Now let's talk about that. Lead people through first Main Street Cigars, and I know we're doing an event, and you're going to have to be more around. You're having a Smoking Shields meeting, but lead people watching tonight anywhere in New Jersey. And I mean, Sugar, you go Staten Island is easy to get to from here. Like you can expand even way beyond North Jersey. But even Central Jersey, where I'm from, I come up here for cigars and almost leading into South Jersey. So what is Main Street Cigars to you? What have you tried to develop as a store owner / manager, et cetera? And then talk to people how that has transitioned from the lounge itself in the shop to what we're sitting in now today.
Okay. So I became the general manager just under 2 years ago. Matter of fact, the end of April, it'll be 2 years. And my main focus was the humidor and the selection of cigars. Being a big cigar buff, aficionado, whatever you want to call me, nerd, geek, I love the boutique blends and brands, and I focused on bringing in several. And with those changes that I made in the humidor, more people started coming. And we basically outgrew the small brick and mortar, which is directly adjacent to this facility. And we needed a place where not only guys and girls want to just go there and hang out and smoke, but they can do so whatever time they want. And that's how we developed the lounge, formerly known as the Continental. It'll probably end up being named the Lounge at Maine. That's a whole nother story, and another podcast will deal with that
Very,
one.
very quickly, what he's alluding to is the legalities of somebody who has a name but not a real strong following or business, but they have the name. So Alec became aware that somebody else had the name, so he couldn't call it what he was originally going to call it, so that's why he's got to change the name. That's all that is.
But I got to tell you, somebody said to me, you know, you made it in the cigar industry when you get your first cease and desist order.
From California.
From California.
Yeah.
So I must be doing something right. But, you know, in any case, it was a natural progression to move on and get bigger space. And the adjacent storefront became available, so we turned it into a members-only 24/7 access lounge with humidified lockers and all the amenities you would expect. You can come in any time of the day or night and hang out, have your cigar.
Now, people not familiar with your location, I announced it as 53 Main Street in Woodbridge, but I don't think that really resonates with people who might be thinking about it. They might not be looking it up. Talk to people about how centrally how easy it is to get to off an I, a Parkway, the Turnpike. I mean, any damn road in New Jersey comes here.
Pretty much. I mean, everything crosses here. Route 1, Route 9, the Turnpike, the Parkway, 287. You name the highway, and it's right in the area. And literally, you're talking 5 minutes off the highway, any one of those highways, and you're here. It's on in the downtown area of Woodbridge, real nice shopping sector, and right down the street, like you alluded to, the PBA office. We're right across from the post office. We're just down from town hall. So
free parking lot in the back.
Free parking lot in the back,
right.
And members enter through the back to get into the facilities here 24/7.
And I noticed you have a nice outdoor area as well.
Yes, and that's another future plan. We're going to build out a 25-foot deck for outdoor seating out there as well.
Yeah, so I'm telling you folks, I live in Howell, it's exit 91, and I think for me to get up here tonight probably took 35 minutes, and it's just a beautiful destination. The people, the members, they're all great. Like last time I was up in here, I only planned on staying, like I said hi to you, and I was ready to just drop off a couple cigars and say, hey, let's plan the event, I'm out of here, and all of a sudden a couple other members like, yo, Steve, what's up? And then I ended up staying for an hour and a half. So it's just that type of place.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we pride ourselves on is you enter as a stranger and you leave as part of the family. And we all know some of the cigar lounges that we've been to in our lives where you walk in and it's like a cheap Western where the music stops and everybody turns and looks at you. You know, we're not like that.
God forbid you touch the remote control without asking someone's permission.
We're very welcoming. The guys and gals that hang out there and hear and smoke are very, very welcoming to everybody. It's just the atmosphere that we've fostered in the actual Main Street Cigars. And the same thing holds true. Everybody that's joined here is just a phenomenal person, and a true brother or sister of the leaf. People that they welcome. Hey, if you're smoking one of these, you're part of the gang. Sit down, relax. You need a drink, and that's how everybody acts here.
How many? So it's you quickly left that space, like grew out of it, I should say, right? Mm-hmm. So you have a couple chairs over there, so people can still sit there if they wanted to. Yep. But talk about this place. It's right on the other side of this wall. It's adjacent to it. But talk about the physical space here. How many chairs do you have? How many lockers?
Yeah, so it's about a total of 800 square feet, and we have 32 chairs. We have a poker table with seats 10. A poker table is obviously folded away. It's nice. It gets out of the way. We set up some chairs here. But in the worst case scenario, we could have 32 people sitting down comfortably and enjoying a cigar. It's a 24/7 access lounge. Regular membership is $75 a month. That gets you a locker, humidified, and it also gets you access 24/7.
That was really cool what you showed me on the phone. Talk about the 24/7 access, because you don't use a normal key fob. It's
no, we don't need
an app
a key
on the
fob.
phone. I thought that was so cool.
The latest technology is a company called VizPin. We've gotten a lot of government contracts and school contracts. Instead of having a key fob that you can lose and anybody can pick up and use, you get a cell phone app from either Android or Apple, and it's called VizPin. It was great when I was Googling, how to figure out how to do our access control here. They popped up, and we talked about it, and it's a fantastic system. You use your phone, so you can't lend your key fob to somebody else. You don't have to worry about losing it because nobody can access your phone. Yep. So it was it was definitely the way to go, and it's the newest technology out there for access control.
Yeah, I thought that was absolutely awesome when I saw it. Everything all right, Ming? All right, good. So I have ADD, so when I hear other noises going on, everything else, I just want to make sure everything's kosher here. How many lockers did you start with? How many are left? Are you looking for new members? Sold
Absolutely,
out?
yeah. We're still open for membership. We started with
What's up, Dave Stevens?
56 lockers. We're halfway to being sold out, so we got about 28 members so far. We're looking for another 28, depending on how fast those memberships go and how crowded the lounge becomes will dictate whether we add another 28, which we can easily do, and boost up the numbers that way, or we'll see. You know, that's we have some growing room.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it was so funny because you just did the math. You're like, yeah, we have 56 and we're about half sold out. And I'm still thinking, you're like, and I'm glad you said 28. It was taking me entirely too long to get to that number. What message do you want to put out there to the folks listening anywhere within, I guess, a 20 to 30 mile radius? What do you want to say to them as the general manager for Main Street Cigars? What would you like them? What's this sticking point that they should know about you, and why should they come out here?
Well, we are, and I don't just say this because I'm the manager. We actually were voted best cigar shop in Central Jersey.
Congratulations!
Yep, thank you. That was an accomplishment. Last year, we were voted best in Central Jersey. The year before that, we got best in Middlesex County. So I guess this year they opened it up a little bit more, and we still won.
That's awesome.
So we're the preeminent boutique line carrying cigar shop in this area, and our humidor has over 600 facings. For a small shop, that's a lot.
Yeah.
We'd like to pride ourselves on the selection of cigars you can get here, and anybody that comes in and checks out the humidor falls in love, and it becomes a regular customer.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I know you have a lot going on with your Smoke and Shields meeting,
sir.
and you have a store to run on an event night. So I really thank you for this time.
No, I thank you again. Just coming on and having me on is an honor and my pleasure. And thank you for coming to us and bringing to light this great brand that gives back to the men and women in blue and in red. And you're going to be changing up now. You're going to be doing.
We're going to be doing more.
Okay.
I'm very excited to say we are going to be doing more. And you know the reasoning why, right?
Yes.
So we're going to be giving out to a lot more different causes. We're going 10% of net income as opposed to maybe $1 per cigar into the future, because what's getting tough for us is a lot of people have said, why did you give to this family and them? These people also need it, and it just became a very, very, very difficult process. It's still going to be a hard process. And it's not going to be any easier now that we're broadening the umbrella, so to say, because so many people need help. You know, so many people need help. So I'm still young, like you, room for growth. You know, and I'm still figuring things out. So I'm looking forward to when that gets figured out.
I'm happy to support such a great endeavor that you've undertaken.
And let me say this too, while you're here. Based on the size of your initial order, it looks like the next time I am back, there will be a check presentation involved. We're going to keep it home and keep it local based on the size of your order. So thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to the next time we're here.
Because I look forward to that too. That'd be great.
That'll be a nice thing. And then, so thank you. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you.
All right. Everybody, Alex Martinez, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Saw some people rolling through. Mike Summers in the house, Dave Stevens in the house, Peter Andreev in the house. It's really nice to see. Next up, if somebody could find Chris Tatino, please. Birthday boy. C. Dot. Come on up, C. Dot. Dottie, C. Dot, Chris, birthday boy, Prez.
We got the cake later.
Yes, we have the cake later. And then also I want to give a huge shout out and a thank you to a dear high school friend of mine, Mary Beth Dugan. She took hours out of her life to make these incredible Irish cream brownies that I love. They're my favorite that she makes. So she made a ton of those and did a ton of cupcakes for your birthday. So shout out to Mary Beth for doing that.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Shout out to her as well.
Awesome.
And thank you for your
Come
hospitality.
on. Come on, Chris. So folks, with me now is Chris Tatino. He serves as, you heard Alex and I talking about the Smoke and Shields. I'm an honorary member. It was quite an honor and something of which I'm very proud to receive back in December up at Railroad Cigars in Newark. But I don't want to screw things up for you, right? So you're the president. I would love for you to take a few moments to tell people about your work that you do on a daily basis, and then how you got into the Smoking Shields and what it's like to become president. And I would love to see you push for any cigar smoker out there who's, first responder, etc. I want them joining. We already had a new member tonight. Peter joined, and that's what it's about. So if you're, a first responder, you love smoking, there's no reason you shouldn't do this. It's a no-brainer, and I'm going to shut up. It's Chris's. Actually, I'm going to talk for 2 more seconds until Chris gets his cigar lit, and then once he's done.
All right.
And by the way, thanks for smoking Los Caidos on my show.
Yeah,
you know what? Everything I just said about
all right,
him,
cancel
bullshit.
that.
It's a horrible organization. No, I'm
gonna cancel this cigar
stop,
right
no,
here.
stop. Go ahead, stop it. That's part of the enjoyment. Come on.
No, absolutely, and trust me, I have plenty of years.
I know you have.
Absolutely delicious cigar, so
have.
I'll probably smoke a couple tonight as well.
I know. I'm just listening.
We always have to expand the palate.
That's the thing we talk about, right? So, and people from Jersey know this. If we don't talk to each other and everything is so formal, it means you don't like the dude, right? So when you get on and you can bust balls, you're family. So speaking of which, Mike Summers just keeps walking.
Yeah, Mike Summers wants to be on this really bad. Mike, you want to say hi?
Mike's a great
Mike
dude.
is a good guy.
So go ahead, Chris. Tell us about yourself and how the smoking.
Absolutely. So
work first, life, and then Smoking Shields.
Work, life, shields. Okay. So work-wise, I'm a 12-year veteran and police officer. I started off my career a little on a hiatus, kind of. I started off as a dispatcher, then a part-time officer, then I went to a full-time officer. So I kind of ran the gamut, in my career. It wasn't a very easy one, so I kind of understand how a lot of people can get disgruntled and frustrated and aggravated. There's a lot of, I could be frank on this show, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. A lot of politics involved,
Yep.
and quite frankly, it's a lot of BS. Mm-hmm. But anyways, I overcame a lot of obstacles in my career to get to where I'm at, and finally, after so many years, I was hired full-time by the Orange Police Department, which I am humbled and honored to always be an officer for them. They are always like a family.
And that's a city, folks, not a color. It's a city.
You're correct. The Orange Police Department, Essex County. That's where I started off my full-time career. Now I'm currently in Parsippany. So I've been there 5 years, and it's been going well. I have 12 years on. So don't know where it's going to take me for the next 13, but we'll see.
That's awesome.
Right now.
So you're counting the numbers.
I'm already counting down. Yeah. And
retirement's at 25 in, just so everybody knows.
Stealing my coffee back.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah. No, I won't drink it. Yeah, hopefully if all goes well, 20 now comes back and I can leave an 8. So we'll see, Let's see what happens. So anyways, now let's go back into what was the other topic you wanted to be talking about?
So just life, because you have another position, correct or no?
I'm a husband and a father.
Nice.
So,
how many kids?
I have one boy right now. He's 2 years old, and I just found out I'm having a daughter in September.
Yo, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
So September the little baby girl will be arriving. So I have a wonderful wife at home who deals with my nonsense and me always out of the house working and working not only at the police department, but I also work at a cigar shop as well. So, so that's another little,
And you do a lot of work with Smoking Shields.
Well, yeah.
Right?
Well,
that's where I met your wife. Is that the
from
event?
The dinner. Yeah, from the dinner. I think was it last year or 2 years ago? 2 years ago.
I think 2 years ago.
2 years ago when we hosted it the first time around. She's very supportive, and I'm grateful for that. I've always acknowledged her, at any type of public event that she's with me, because without her, I wouldn't be able to do any of this.
I know that better than anybody. I know that better than anybody. Trust me.
And so, like I said, I'm very grateful for having her behind me and supporting me. So
it's
awesome.
Nice.
Now, as far as the shields go, so Smoking Shields is actually originated out in New York. John Bellico, who's getting ready to retire now, is I think he's a detective sergeant, or maybe detective second grade. I think he is out there. He started the show. He started the whole organization. I think it'll be now 6 years ago.
Okay.
And about 4 years ago, he approached myself and Kyle and Jesse, some of our other members, about starting Smoking Shields New Jersey, because we had a Facebook group called Blue Smoke New Jersey. And it was just a regular Facebook page where officers were going on, posting their cigars, posting what they were drinking and smoking, blah, 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 blah. And we kind of wanted to go in a different direction. We actually sat down and said, well, maybe we could take this into a bigger realm, So we sat down with John. He pitched the idea to us about Smoking Shields. We came back home and we kind of putzed around for about a week thinking about it. And since the footprint of Smoking Shields was already there, it was an easier decision to start Smoking Shields New Jersey. So July 2017, we formulated, we got the paperwork. We are a nonprofit 501c3. And it's been a Fun and fun experience, definitely. I was one of the original members, one of the founding members, and I started off as secretary, vice president, and now president of the organization. So I'm trying to, implement some of my ideas for the organization, for the members, because I was able to, luckily, I kind of consider it like luck. I was able to see what worked, what didn't work along the last 4 years. So now I'm hoping that, I only took over in October. So in the last, 6-7 months now, yep. I'm trying to, get myself to know what the members want, see what they're asking for, see what we can do as well. And most of us, if not all of us, I would say out of 150 members, 160 members statewide, 95% of us are some kind of first responder. To be an active member, it's police, fire, civil service, firefighter, like paid firefighter. You can't just be a volunteer. That would be considered an associate. Okay. And then military.
How many members do you have now?
About 160, wow. 165.
And talk about how you guys just branded the South chapter too.
Yeah, so Brian Gibson, who's actually here with us tonight, he drove up from Cape May, and he met with our membership coordinator, Tony, one night. And he was basically saying that he was interested in starting a South chapter. We were interested in starting a South chapter. So he took the reins and he got his board together, and he's been running that really well. So basically anything south of Ocean County, New Jersey, and west of Ocean County, that whole area, yep. would be considered the South Lodge. Yep. And it's the same thing. They have their monthly meetings. They do the raffles. They do the Facebook pages. They're all on our own Facebook page.
Yep. I'll be with them tomorrow night in Sweden
at Lit, right?
Cigar Lounge.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah. So again, you've been a huge supporter, so I gotta say thank you for that and
my pleasure.
Getting it out there. Brian's been doing an excellent job, so I have to give him tons of credit. It's a lot of work. It's definitely a lot of work. As much as I like to call this like a good old boys club, it's still a organization, a legitimate organization where we raise money for fallen officers, military members, and their families. For example, I'll give you the dinner that we did 2 years ago. We raised about $7,000 to give out to several of our members for the Police Unity Tour. Unfortunately, that was supposed to go for 2020. Obviously, COVID came around. They postponed the race. Actually canceled the ride, I should say, not the race, the ride. And so that money's now going to be distributed to them this year for their ride this year. Go ahead.
I was amazed when I was at your meeting in December at Railroad when you made the announcement about how much money you raised at this year's dinner. Do you want to talk about that for a second?
Yeah, so this past year, I'll backtrack a little bit. Our first year, we didn't know what to expect. Hosting a large cigar social, we had no idea what we were going to expect. We had about 145 guests. Then this past year, we wound up getting 210, I believe it was.
In a short notice, 3 weeks.
Yeah, it was
about 3 weeks.
It was about 3 weeks' notice. Give or take 3 weeks. I think we planned late because of COVID.
Sure.
We didn't know what we could do and how we can do it.
Yep.
Thank God it was an outside venue. It was a beautiful night, so we were able to do half inside, half outside.
Social distance. I was there.
Yeah,
it was done great.
Compliant to the best of our abilities.
Yep.
I'll put it that way.
Yep.
But everybody enjoyed themselves. Everybody had a great time, and we raised over $30,000 overall. And a lot of that money has been going out towards. Thank you. And so that money's, what we did was we decided that we're going to find families who lost a officer due to COVID and cut them checks to help them financially to support them. So we've given out tons of checks right now. We're still in the process of doing it. So, it's going to take a little bit of time to get things going. And unfortunately, there will be some other officers in over the next year, 2 years that may have complications from COVID and pass away. So the money's there, So if anybody's actually watching this and you're a New Jersey officer or works for a New Jersey department and you have an officer that passed away from COVID, I'll give you my information at the end. Reach out to me and we'll get you a check for the family members. So, because that's what this organization's about. As much as we like to, have fun and do good, with amongst ourselves as members, we also want to give out to the rest of the families of fallen officers and military members.
So 2 things I want to be very specific about in addressing everybody watching right now. Mm-hmm. How much is membership? How does one go about becoming a member?
Correct.
Number 1. And then number 2, talk about when you anticipate the next cigar dinner being, so even if people who are not first responders can still come out and support you like I did.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So to become a member, you have to be either active, retired, military, or first responder. $60 a year is for your dues. You get a lovely shirt like I'm wearing. I don't know if you can all see this, but it's a beautiful shirt. It's a nice.
It is a lovely
club
shirt.
bowling shirt, I guess you could call it. It's actually our cigar
That'd
shirt.
be a good fundraising activity. A little
bowling act. We're always looking for.
You're all dressed for it.
Exactly. We can come right on in. So, so it's $60 for active members. Now, associates can come in, and the way the associate membership works is it's $80 a year, and you have to be brought in and invited in by an active member. Only one member can invite somebody in a year. So we try and keep the ratio fairly on the law enforcement, first responder side, military side compared to the associate. A lot of organizations out there over the years have, oh, you want to be a member? Come on in, come on in. Just, pay me your dues and you can be a member and blah, blah, blah. We don't, me personally, as the president of this organization, it's first responder only. First responder, military. So that's the reason why we want to keep it in that aspect. We are a tight-knit group of people, and like-minded people, so we want to keep it like that. We don't want any headaches, so we don't want any, nonsense. So active first responder, police, paid fire, military, $60. Associate's going to be $80. As far as the dinner goes, September 23rd, it's a Thursday. It's going to be at the Grand Marquis in Woodbridge. Tickets are going to be $150, and you're going to get a whole bunch of cigars. You're going to get some swag with that, bags and pins and cutters and whatever else we could think of to throw in there to make it worth your while. You're gonna get something nice this time around. So
awesome.
We're going to try and make it look good.
And for those of you who support first responders, smoke cigars, and ride a motorcycle,
we're also going to be trying to do. We're in the process of putting together a motorcycle run on June 27th. It's going to be starting in two different locations. One's going to be the south side, which is going to be at Havana Cigars in Barnegat, New Jersey, and then the north side is going to start off at Barristers in Union. And there's going to be different spots all the way ending at the Harley Davidson. I believe it's in West Long Branch.
Mm-hmm.
Shoreline. There you go.
Yep.
So we're tentatively set for June 27th. We're still going to work out some details and iron out some details. And hopefully, if all goes well, we can actually start promoting it a little bit more and getting some riders out there. So
that's awesome.
It'll be nice.
What can people do specifically? I know we talked about with membership. What's the main point you want to leave with anybody watching right now?
Listen, if you enjoy cigars, you enjoy coming out, hanging out with, good group of guys, this is the type of organization you want to join. We support our own, we take care of our own in many ways, not just financially. Emotionally and mentally, if you have anything going on, we're always a phone call away as well. This type of event the meeting that we're having tonight is what usually does a lot of good for people. Just to get out, have a drink, have a cigar, hang out, talk. We do have 50/50s. We have raffle prizes. We have beautiful food every week. It's not a 5-star menu, but it's good enough for us. Good. So But if that's what you're looking for, and enjoy a night out once a month, twice a month, if you want to go to both meetings, and every quarter we also do coffee and cigars. So the organization pays for coffee, cigars, hang out at a cigar lounge, just to kind of get out on a Sunday morning. We do that once a quarter.
They did it yesterday, and unfortunately I couldn't be there because I had to prepare for this. So I apologize.
Correct. Yeah. Yesterday we did it at Famous Smoke Shop out in Easton, PA, and Nicole and the staff there did a great job. Helping us out and taking care of us. So they're always good to us as well. So like a lot of places are.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so if you're interested in being a member, go to our website, SmokingShieldsNJ.org. Again, it's SmokingShieldsNJ.org. Click on memberships. It's a fillable form that you can just click and go, fill in your information, and then you'll get an email from our membership coordinator, Tony, regarding everything. And like I said, you'll get a shirt, you'll get a pin, and you get to come to all our events and meetings, and it's a lot of fun.
It is. I can speak firsthand. It is. I've been to their dinners. I've been to almost every event they've had, and I have to say, it is a lot of fun.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm glad somebody from besides an actual Shield member saying that.
I'm honorary.
You're honorary.
I'm honorary.
You are honorary. True. Yeah. So I guess I have to take that back. I got to get a civilian in here to say that.
That's right. You do.
But thank you for having me. I wanted to say that it's an honor, being next to you and sitting next to you on your podcast. So I definitely appreciate that.
Brother, I don't have to put a vest on and go to work. The honor is mine. Thanks, Doc.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right, folks, we're going to take a 2-second break because I got to go. So we have some very esteemed guests here that I did not know were going to be here. So I'm just going to go ask one of them if they want to come up here and be part of the podcast. And if so, great. If not, then I'll move on to the next guest. But give me 1 second. Can you turn this off? Thanks. And while we're waiting for our next guest to pop on, I just want to say this is really not for the live audience, mostly for the people sitting in the lounge. If they can hear me or not, I don't know. But we're going to have a couple great guests tonight in addition to those that are going to be on. But if anybody doesn't know, go ahead, cut in.
So when we made you an honorary member, it was my fault for not bringing something. So I wanted to present that to you as an honorary member.
Get out of here. This is awesome. I'm not supposed to cry on my show, man.
That's okay.
This is really, dude, thank you so much, man.
No problem.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This is really, really cool. So everybody, if you can't see it, certificate of appreciation and grateful recognition of your continuing service and support. Hereby present Steve Zengel, owner of Los Caidos, with the certificate of appreciation for your donation support to Smoke and Shield Cigar Club of New Jersey, signed by Chris Tatino, President, 24th day of February 2021.
That was supposed to give to him at the last meeting. I completely forgot it, so I wanted to bring it to him today.
Oh, dude, that is really, really cool. Thank you so much, Chris.
Problem.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Do what you do.
No, it's all. Hey, I don't do much. But for anybody who's in the lounge or can hear this live here at Main Street Cigars today in the lounge to be named, the guy who's running the show here tonight has a studio called the Shared Universe Podcast Studio. It's out in Eatontown and out of Bellworks in Middletown, and his name is Ming Chen. And if you don't know Ming Chen, he's one of the 4 famous TV actors. It was with Kevin Smith's show Comic Book Men. It was on AMC for 7 seasons. And if you're interested in getting a box of Los Caidos cigars, what really worked great at Cigar Sessions is I think Alex is giving a typical 10% discount on the box, but I have markers here. Ming, if you buy a box, you get a hat. And Wayne, don't go anywhere, you're next up. So if you buy a box, you get a hat, and Ming will be here to sign anything for you if you want. And then also, the next guest is a very well-esteemed college basketball coach. He'll be on the show, and then he too will sign stuff for you. But next, come on in, Wayne. I am tickled pink. We have all the heavies. Let me stand up to honor your ass, man. Nice to see you.
You too.
This guy, really, really special. He's a member of Smoke and Shields, and I had no idea he was going to be here tonight. But all the heavies are in the house, and when you have a guy like this, you just stop shit. You stop what you're doing and you welcome him onto the show, because I'm very humbled he's here. Wayne Blanchard, the union president for the State Trooper Fraternal Association, yes, TFA. I just wanted to make sure I got that right. So if people don't know my background and history, I'm going to tell you why I'm so humbled and honored right now. My parents went to Jackson Memorial High School. They were raised there. I grew up in Howell, and I taught basketball at Jackson Memorial, taught there for a little bit of time. And then we had a trooper who was killed, Mark Castellano, on the side of the road. And on August 24th, 2019, my nonprofit, for Ride Time, took a ride for Mark. And the troopers have a really special place in my heart, and I will say they are probably, I did not know this, so pardon me for my ignorance, but I was talking with a few folks in law enforcement and all throughout the country, and they're like, if there's one organization you don't really want to mess with that has their stuff together, it's the state troopers. And I said, really, from New Jersey? They're that badass? And they go, bro, they are that badass. So this is the gentleman that's the head of their union, and this is Wayne Blanchard. And Wayne, thank you so much for coming on. I am really humbled right now.
Thanks, Steve. And it's a real pleasure to be here. Smoke and Shields was a group that I heard about for the last couple of years. Became interested in them. Had the pleasure of attending one of their meetings a couple of months ago. And I said, these guys really got it going on. They're organized. They're doing good things for our brothers and sisters in law enforcement, and I felt compelled to join that night, and I've been to every meeting since the last couple of months. So I love seeing what Chris and the gang are doing, again, for our brothers and sisters in law enforcement, but more importantly, to sit in a room full of brothers and sisters enjoying our pastime, and it's undisputed that right now law enforcement is in our hardest time period probably of all time, between COVID and social justice, and everybody and their mother taking a shot at us, crawling out from under a rock, taking another shot at us. So to sit with a group of guys like that and enjoy our pastime, but more importantly, to have the camaraderie back in that room, and you just see that everybody's going through the same problems, and everybody's here to support each other while we're enjoying a nice cigar. Nothing better than Smoke and Shields, and I'm so impressed with the organization. It's going to be the STFA's pleasure to be hosting the full Jersey chapter at our STFA office in Manasquan for the June 17th meeting. So, like I said, organization's doing great things. We like what it's all about, and most of all, we like smoking cigars and supporting our fellow brother and sister officers across the state. But let's talk about our good friend Steve Zengel. Here's a guy that I've known probably longer than I've been a union officer, 10, 12 years. And he was always doing the right thing way back in the day when I would see him at Bar A in Belmar. He released the line a couple different times, and there's something to be said about a guy that has the back of law enforcement. It's guys like Steve Zengel and what he does through supporting us through his vocation in the Los Caidos cigar line that makes guys like him special, makes our profession special, and shows really what the brotherhood and supporting each other is all about. And Steve, without supporters like you, we can't make it in this day and age. So thank you very much for your support.
My pleasure.
And good luck with the line.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Well, yes, and there's a couple more things I want to talk about, and I want you to talk about. So I've seen Wayne at I've seen you at almost every event. The Wall PBA picnic. You're out there supporting it, and you're a busy dude. You're the union president for the state troopers of New Jersey. You're a busy dude. You told me today you were in Marlton, Atlantic City, like you're all over. So I saw you at the picnic. I saw you at the Long Branch firefighter dinner, right? So every time I am somewhere at a cigar event, I see you there. And I think that's really cool that you don't only support the police, you support the firefighter, you too support the community at large. And I think that's something special. And you too are also raising money through cigars. And you had a great cigar dinner. Talk about that, and is that gonna be an annual thing?
Yes. But what's important is what I said prior. If I'm there, you're there, and that's what I said. Through teamwork and supporting each other, that's how we're going to make this thing better, and know that the guys and girls in that room know that there's a good support network behind them in through your cigar line and through Smoking Shields. But yes, we'll be holding our 4th annual STFA Cigar Smoke this June 24th. So the week after we're hosting at the office, the Smoking Shields statewide chapter will be having our 4th annual Scotch and Cigar Night at the Grand Marquis in Woodbridge. Tickets are $200. I will have them available by next month's meeting for anybody in Smoking Shields that wants to partake. 7 o'clock p.m. kickoff till about 11. Open bar, buffet dinner. You're going to get a signature STFA Scotch glass, and you're going to get a bottle of bourbon, special blended STFA bourbon. Knob Creek, yep, single cask Knob Creek, and of course you're going to get STFA cigars and some hand rolled cigars and I think we're going to work some Los Caidos in there. So
That's great. Now,
so we support those who support us.
And you also have a great relationship. So when they said that the meeting was down at Barnegat, New Jersey, you have a very intimate relationship with Harry down there.
Yes.
Harry's a great blender, great cigars. Talk about that a little bit as well, like your relationship with him, and then how good the cigars are going to be at your STFA event, because they're phenomenal. People always talk about them.
Much like yourself, Harry's a tremendous police supporter. He has been for years, and our friendship goes back even before that. But Harry kind of had a vision one day, and he says, "Hey," he says, and you described him well. He's a master blender. He has several of his own cigar lines out, and he says, "Hey, I have this, this rare five-year aged Dominican tobacco. I would like to do something for the STFA to give back to you and your troopers." And he developed a line, and like I said, 5-year aged Dominican tobacco. They're a box pressed torpedo.
Great cigar.
They're found in most stores in New Jersey, the Havana Cigar Lounges, Buenos Aires and Red Bank, just to name a few. And usually right on the shelf next to yours. So
Yep.
and that's what a place. I gotta tip my hat to Alex Martinez. He came to this shop, took it over, and all you see are cigars, whether it's Line of Duty, Los Caidos, or STFA cigars on the shelves that support his brother, police officers or first responders.
That's awesome. Well, Wayne, you heard it here. Cigar dinner is what day?
Thursday, June 24th.
June 24th.
For our STFA Foundation.
STFA Foundation, $200 a ticket. Folks, I'm telling you right now, I'm going to be buying one. I'm probably going to be, the guys I'm going to be bringing are right next door. Dave Stevens, Richie Zarillo, Joe Cucci, they're all coming with me. And I'm really looking forward to it. Wayne, I can't thank you. He's got a lot of people to talk to, folks. He's here as a member of Smoking Shields. All of his brothers are next door, so I'm going to let him go. But man, thank you so much.
Thank you.
The State Trooper Fraternal Association president, folks, is here tonight with us. Wayne, thank you so much,
Thanks, Steve,
man.
and thanks for your continued support of law enforcement.
Always. Thank you so much, man. Thank you, Wayne.
Thank you.
That was awesome. All the heavies in the house, man. All the heavies in the house. And I can't even tell you who I'm looking at right now. Coach Callahan from Monmouth University. He's going to be up in a few minutes. I cannot wait. That's going to be a great conversation. You talk about ball busting? Shit, it's going on in a few minutes, let me tell you. But right now, another dear friend is, I'm bringing him on, Vittorio Vito Spadea. And I'm very happy because as a non-Italian, for so long, people tell me I was saying his name wrong, and I wasn't. It was only outside his Somerville police station about a month ago when I was scouting a ride out for Barcelona that I took this Saturday that he said, "No, dude, you're saying it right." So now I'm mad at all my Italian friends from Long Branch for telling me I was saying it wrong. I think they put me up to that. What's up, baby? Let me give you the proper respect, man. What's up?
How are you?
I'm doing great.
That's great. That's great. Oh, man, I'll tell you one thing. It's a lot warmer today than the last time I was on your podcast.
So Vito has a very great distinction. This is going to be his second time on the show. We broadcasted live out of Tennessee Ave Beer Hall last year in Atlantic City. Ming was down there.
Yep.
And we froze our asses off around a fire pit. We were visibly shaking on the show if you could see it. But Vito's a great dude. We have developed a great relationship, and he does a lot. So he's a Smoking Shields member. He's a police officer. He's going to tell you all about that. But he's going to be on here because he's also a delegate for the state PBA, and they run a great dinner, another cigar dinner. They do a great job at the convention in Atlantic City. And Vito, take it away, man. Tell everybody what you do for work.
All right, so
Smoking Shields, and then let's get into the state cigar dinner.
All right, so I've been a cop in Somerville 17 years. Love what I do. I'm a community policing officer there. That's my job. It's kind of what I grew up on, having the guy walk the beat. Taking care of looking at the businesses and checking them out and talking to them, and that's just me. And everybody now in town, Officer Vito, they all know me. That's kind of like the one thing what would really made me be a cop. My dad had a pizzeria and restaurant for 30 years, and as a kid, I always had the walking beat cop. And believe me, one of our members who's here now used to be one of our was a detective in Plainfield, and I remember him as a little kid growing up. And now we're smoking cigars together. So who would have thought? But then path started going into the PBA stuff. I was a secretary, became the president for a little while, and then the delegate spot opened up, and believe it or not, it's probably the best spot to be. So I've been the delegate now just over 6 years. Oh, actually, June will be 6 years. And it's just great. I mean, the guys at the office trust me. which is great. I know Pete is here. He's second vice president. He'll be here probably talking soon. But the guys know that certain guys are workers, and I've always been that guy. I'm going to put my name to something. I'm going to make sure that it's done right, and that I'm not going to make us look bad.
I know.
So when I met Steve a couple years ago, so we have a vendor room. One of our, the former guy who used to run it, Hank Warner, who's also a member here, he kind of just said, hey, when he was retiring, they asked him, they said, who do you think is going to be good? He said, I think Vito will do a great job. I took over the vendor room at the mini convention, and from there, I just went with it, and that's how I met you. Got things squared away. We did a good job with that. So the past 2 years, we're doing that and I guess this year it's going to be in June. So we're looking forward to that. It'll be my third year running that. With that, Pat turned to me and one of our other guys, and he said, I want you guys to help us out with the Survivor and Welfare Fund. For those of you who don't know, Survivor and Welfare Fund is a fund that's created to help fallen officers' families. And with that, he says, with COVID and all the deaths that we've had to really help out a lot of families, unfortunately. So we need to help that foundation out a little bit. So he said, let's do a premier cigar event for the state PBA, which we have never done, state PBA level. We've done it where locals have done it and they've donated to the cause, but this one's going to be a premier event. We're going to do it at Crystal Springs Resort in Hamburg, which is, I know it's up north, but the venue is going to be beautiful. For anybody who has not been, I have never been. My wife's been there. It's gorgeous. May 18th. The dinner is from 6 to 10, and it's $150 a ticket. We're going to have 6 cigars in your package. One of the cigars I'm smoking right now is a Main Street local house blend. We're going to have, of course, we cannot have an event for a Survivor and Welfare Fund without a Los Caidos cigar. And obviously, we love what you do, and giving back $1 to every $1 back to every cigar you sell. And the minute we knew I was doing this event, I said, I don't care what we have, Los Caidos is going to be in there, just because of the fact of what you stand for and what the back story about it is. And that was the one thing. We're going to also have 3 different cigars from Famous Smoke, a CAO, a Avo cigar, and a Partagas. And the 6th one is going to be a special blend by Mobile Cigar Lounge, which they roll, and it's going to have our nice not smoke shields. That's the other part of it. It's going to have our Survivor and Welfare logo on it, banded on there. So that's going to be nice. 6 cigars. You're going to get a little ammo box case, which you could make that really as your travel humidor. We're going to have 2 rocks glasses engraved in there, and we're working on cutters and challenge coins, which we're going to sell at the event. And the next thing is sponsorships and all that kind of stuff. So we're looking to make this a big event, and hopefully.
Speaking of,
oh man, this one's my last year coin. So every year I do a challenge coin for my Unity Tour. I'm also one of the Unity Tour riders.
hold that up to the camera so you can see.
So this was last year's coin. The neat thing about these.
So do you have yours? Because I just challenged you.
Yeah, let me go in my bag.
Okay.
I don't want to step off camera, but I have a whole bunch in my bag.
All right, no problem. So I owe you a beer.
The cool thing about this, my 5th year doing it, is that being that I'm close to the schools, I have the school students design the coin for me. So what they do is everybody. I don't want to get off of this.
No,
let me finish
let
me finish the cigar, and I'll come back to the coins, because I don't want to confuse the listeners and say I got off topic.
We're not confused. You are.
Believe me, my brain is going crazy. Back to cigar night. We got sponsorships. We have as high as $10,000 up to $5,000. With that, you're going to get banners. You're going to get tickets to the event. We're looking for sponsors for cigar cutters for the coins. We're also looking for sponsors for the cigars, like basically anybody who's going to pay for the cigars, and we're gonna put your advertisement on there, and everyone's going to be able to see your name on it. With that, we're also going to have a link or a place where you can call the company direct, and we're going to have 50% off golf. If you're going to that cigar event, you're going to have 50% off golf for that morning at the resort, and also a discounted hotel price to stay there. So all in all, we're looking to make this like the premier event.
That's
You know,
awesome.
And that's a big thing. So we already got our first two $10,000 sponsorships,
That's awesome.
which is great. And we're just working our way down from that.
All right, and
Now I'll go back to the
challenge coin.
all right. Let's go back to challenge coin now. So challenge coin, it's one of the things I did with my
I
students.
think I still owe you $20 for the one I took from you at Sticks.
I didn't want to say that, but whatever. Sure. So what I did is a few years ago, one of the teachers said, "Why don't you?" She knew I was into coins. She said, "Why don't you get the graphic design students to design something?" So I said, "All right, you know what? That's a great idea." So what they do is they have 20 kids, 30 kids, whatever it is. They all submit designs to me, and I pick the ones I like. What I do is sometimes I say, "You know what? I like this part of this coin. I like this part of this," and I mesh them all together. And from 30 designs, I may have 5 kids combining to do one coin. This year was 2 kids. Last year was basically one student who did that whole design.
Wow.
Which is great. One of the students had this nice little phrase, which I had him incorporated in that too. But I sell them for $20, and it helps me raise my money for my uni tour.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What do you want as we prepare to have Peter come on real quick after you? What do you want people to remember for the cigar dinner?
A great time. You're gonna have a great time. Like I said, we're gonna have. It's the venue is so beautiful that when you look at it, you're just gonna be amazed. We're gonna have it in their nice gazebo. It's gonna be one of those things that you're gonna say, "Wow, I can't wait to come back there next year."
And it's May 18th.
May 18th. It's a Tuesday night. I know it's Tuesday night, but we don't want to have people take away from their families on the weekends and stuff and whatever they do. So we made it a weekday. And it's gonna be a blast.
That's
I'm
awesome.
really looking forward to it.
Oh, so am I. I can't wait.
Yeah,
I
you'll be
cannot
there.
wait.
You'll be there.
Well, Vito, thank you so much for coming on and talking about it. I love every time we get together. It's a good time, and I love seeing you, man. Thank you so
Steve.
much.
Looking forward to the next one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So there you have it from the person who's been on the most showings of the Los Caidos podcast. Thank you, Vito, so much.
Thank you.
Peter Andre, come on up real quick. And then following Peter, we're going to have the Division I assistant men's basketball coach, the esteemed Rick Callahan from Monmouth University.
We use that.
Term lightly. I hold you in high esteem, coach. What's up, Peter? What's up, baby? How you doing, all right?
Thank you very much for having me.
Come on, man. It's my pleasure. So, folks, with me is I met him through the convention in 2018, October. In 16, I was invited to speak at the New Jersey Mini Convention for the PBA, and then we sold out cigars very quickly, quicker than I anticipated, and then I had to take a year off, and when I came back, the very first thing I did was to ask to be brought down again, and we presented the Survivor Welfare Fund with the check of $2,500. And that's how I got to know Peter, because Peter runs the convention. But after that, I think it's turned into a nice friendship. I live in Howell. He lives in Point. Recently, we got together at the club to which I belong in Long Branch. And it was just a really, really beautiful time together. So now what started as a professional relationship has turned into a friendship. But I wanted Peter out here because, we try to financially support family members of fallen police officers. And in this state, Peter's the director for the state PBA for the pension and benefits. So, our organization, Los Caidos Cigars, Life of Ride Time 501c3, we're trying to figure out the root cause. We have a root cause committee whereby we try to help people fully understand the benefits of what happens, how much do you get should the worst happen, and we're trying to figure all that out. Well, this guy has the formula. He knows everything. So, Peter, thank you for coming on. Like I told you, folks, we have all the heavies in the house here tonight. I mean, I can't believe that Peter's here. I appreciate you coming out to support the event. I'm going to shut up. Tell everybody about your past work history and what you're doing with the state PBA now and your work with the Division of Pensions and Benefits.
All right, so my name is Peter Andre. I work for the Point Pleasant Beach Police Department. I'm in my 27th year. Back in 2014, when Pat Callahan and Mark Kovar took over the state PBA, they invited me up to the state PBA office to do what I do now. So I have the honor and privilege to go around the state and teach our members about retirement and discuss their retirement options. A lot of times our members know what they have to get to, the end goal of 25 years, but they don't know the nuances of our pension fund. And so that's where I come in, and I try to sit down and explain what they can get, what their percentages will be, what their survivors will get if, God forbid, they pass away in retirement, and just pretty much walk them through the retirement process. That's, I've got the best job in the state PBA. I also run our conventions, so every time that someone sees me, they got a smile on their face because we're going down to Atlantic City or they're coming in to retire. So like I said, I got the best job in the state PBA, and again, I wouldn't have that job if it wasn't for Pat Callahan and Mark Kovar. So, back in 2016 when you first came to the PBA convention, we were more than happy to greet you there, and we're excited to have you there because of the fact that what your program is about, in regards to our fallen officers and doing what you guys do, what your association does for ours and all of our members in New Jersey, and quite frankly, all the law enforcement members in the nation. It was something that we wanted to learn more about. And of course, we plugged your cigars the whole time that you were there. And like you said, you sold out, which was a very gratifying experience for us because not only did we help you, but you helped all of our members as well, not only in New Jersey but nationwide. So it was a pretty fun event. And then when you came back a couple years later to reestablish that connection again, to go out there and again remind our members that what you do and how you do things, I think it was probably better off the second time around, right? And I know you brought more supplies the second time around, which is a good thing. So, but yeah, I mean, again, I've been a PBA delegate for a long time, since 1997, and it just like Vito said before me, it's a great opportunity to help our members. Now with my position at the state PBA, I have even more of a chance to help our members. Our tagline is "We help those that help others," right? And in my position, it's like it's the most gratifying event to go in and help our members to retire, and especially if they've had a traumatic injury while working, and they're going out for an accidental disability. We can explain that process to them, and also ease their anxiety. Because for a lot of our members, working 25 or 30 years, this is something that they've done since they were 20, 22 years old, 25 years old. So for the majority of their adult life, law enforcement is the only job that they've had. So there's a lot of anxiety because of the unknown. What's going to happen next? So again, one of the things I'd like to do is try and ease their anxieties regarding their retirement, and just remind them that from all the other guys that have done it, it's not so bad from what I understand. I'm still active member, but from what all the feedback we've received, it's a wonderful thing for our members to retire. So.
That's awesome. I can't imagine what anyone's so anxious about. I would just go to Key West and fish all day.
Like you sound like Summers now.
I didn't say it. I didn't say it. But that's awesome. So what would you like? You're now a member. You joined tonight, Smoking Shields.
Yep, joined tonight. Again, knew about the program. Just didn't have the time to commit to something like this, and being here with everybody tonight and seeing some familiar faces, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer for anybody that enjoys a good cigar to sit down into a great place like this, like a great a venue like this, to come in and like Vito said before, to enjoy the camaraderie of the members. The guys sitting there talking, telling stories, telling some funny things, like you said, breaking chops, and that's the best form of communication and camaraderie that one can have as a police officer.
See, that's the difference. See, he misquoted me. He's the political side of things. He's got an image to maintain. I said busting balls. I didn't say busting chops. But when you get to his level, you have to say busting chops, right? But we're in a safe zone here on my podcast, so it's okay.
Members only, right? Members only.
Members only. But Peter, thank you so much. I know you're so busy. You travel all over the state. So for you to be able to come tonight to support this event, I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. And it's also nice seeing a friend.
Right, absolutely. And again, thank you for the invite. And again, Vito and everybody to do this. And again, just like I want, shameless plug again, but I want to remind everybody out there, we are having an event for our New Jersey PBA Survivor and Welfare Fund. That fund goes to the fallen members' families. It's there to as a financial assistance for the members. It's a one-time thing where if God forbid something happened to one of our members, our leadership is there with a check. Because sometimes with a death benefit with the pensions, it'll take 3 months for them to process the death claim. So our organization is there, like maybe within 24 hours with a check for the family, so at least they have some footing to at least know that they can pay for the funeral, or know that they can pay for a repass, or whatever the bills that they need to do. We don't ask questions, and it's there for them to use at their disposal. And we're happy to be there. And again, this fundraiser that we're doing, we do 2 a year. Well, now we'll be doing 2 a year with the Cigar event. We also do a golf event, which is May 3rd, which is before the Cigar event. and that is our golf outing at Trump National up in Bedminster. And again, that does a lot to help the Survivor and Welfare Fund. So, so if anybody wants to golf on May 3rd, just let us know. Get a call up the state PBA office. We're taking corporate sponsorships or even players if they want to come out and play Trump National, which for a lot of people, you may not be able to get onto that course because it's an exclusive course, and to get out there and play one of the premier clubs in the state of New Jersey. So. And all the money goes to our fund. We're a 501c3 organization, and every dollar that we raise goes directly to our fallen members and their families.
Yeah, because we know how much you get paid. You don't need the money. You don't need
I wish. If
money.
I had your money, I'd burn mine.
Yeah, whatever, man. Well, folks, I just want to say thank you to Peter so much. He's got so much to do. He's all over the state every day. I can't, dude. Do you lease or own a vehicle? Like, how does that work?
Yeah,
Because I
no.
cannot imagine you can lease a car.
Yeah, we're all over the place. You're right.
Yeah. So just for taking time out tonight, thank you so much. It
No,
was
thank you
such a
very much for
pleasure
this.
to
This
see
is
you.
this is a wonderful experience. So
All
thank
right,
you.
thank you, Peter. Thank you so
Appreciate it.
much,
Thank
brother.
you,
So good to see you, man. Thank you.
Hey, Sten, you're so tall.
Yeah. Well, speaking of, what a great segue. Listen, you couldn't have done that any better, right? What a great segue. You know he knows his environment. He said, I don't like standing next to you because you're so tall. Well, if there's one dude that knows what it's like to be around tall dudes, it's my next guest. And Ming, before I start this, just make sure you tell me if the battery's going out on this wireless. All right, you charge it up, nice. But this next guy, I got to meet just through basketball. For people who know me and follow Los Caidos and have heard me talk before, you know that I used to coach high school basketball here in the state for a long time, and then I went to Division I Hampton University, and I then came back to Central Regional High School, and that's where this gentleman, I really formed a bond because I had a player, a couple actually, 3 of them that were very good, and then we started talking a lot, and then after the player talk, that would last like 20 minutes. Then we started talking about life, and it was just so much fun all the time we got together. So without further ado, I'd love to bring on a good friend and great college coach, Rick Callahan, and we're going to talk about the Final Four.
Steve,
What's up,
what's
baby?
up,
Great to see you. How's everything going, all right?
Doing great. Yep, absolutely.
Nice. You are looking good, man.
Glad to be here.
You
It's
look
awesome.
really good. So how's life going for you?
Well, pre-COVID, during COVID, post-COVID. It's was been a long year.
Yeah.
The players and the coaches have gone through a lot of adversity to get to where we're at today, and then hopefully we'll continue to have a good tournament and watch college basketball for the first time and. Have an NCAA tournament that's been pretty awesome.
Yes.
Absolutely spectacular.
Yes. So we're gonna talk a lot tonight. All right. So part of our conversation, it's first going to start off with your background, because I did my homework and I don't ever try to take anybody for granted. Seriously, that comes on, right? So I've had Jack Ford, J.R. Smith, Bobby Hurley, Kyle Anderson, Joey Scott. I've had them all on, and I grew up playing basketball with them, coached a couple of them, and still I felt like even Jason Thompson. Like, I was telling Jason about his stats he didn't even know, and I didn't know him, but that's the work I try to put in before you come on.
Appreciate
so
that.
My notes are next door in the lounge itself. I don't have them in front of me, so pardon me if I'm not exact. But I want to talk to you about your past because I was amazed with some things, right? Especially your time with Eddie Fogler. And I didn't realize, so we're going to talk about that. I want you to tell everybody who Coach Fogler was, and then I'm going to talk to you and ask you to kind of expand on some things I learned because I might have the details wrong and I want you to get them right.
Sure.
And then I'm going to bring you up to current day Monmouth with King, all right?
Right.
And then we'll go from there, and then we'll talk about the NCAA tourney. We'll tell that story about how my alma mater refused to play you when you were kicking everyone's ass like UCLA, Notre Dame, Georgetown that year.
I don't want to get into that.
No. We won't necessarily get into that, but it's still a good one because I had to ask you to confirm. You're like, oh, Stevie, I don't know anything about that. I was like, well, I do because I don't see him on the schedule. So anyway, that'll be on me, nothing to do with you. And obviously we have a good time when I see you at the Long Branch Cigar Dinner. So let's talk about how did you get into coaching? I know, but I want you to tell the folks watching and listening.
Well, I met Jim Boeheim when I was a senior in college. And I was from Syracuse originally. And I was in Syracuse for Christmas that year. And I went over to watch practice and called him and reach out to the other assistants and watch practice in Manley Fieldhouse when they had Louis Orr and Roosevelt Bowie and all those guys. I think it was like 1979. And told him what I wanted to do and what I was just a senior in college, and basketball was great, and I had been involved at Salem College with basketball, and got to the point at Salem that I couldn't play, anymore. And then it was time that they asked me if I wanted to help with the coaching deal, and that's how I got started coaching and went to 5-star and met a lot of coaches. And Coach Boeheim got me in a graduate assistantship to teach in the graduate school activities courses at Syracuse University. And then one thing led to another. I worked for Coach for 7 years, and then through those relationships, I met Eddie Fogler, who at that time was a 16-year assistant with Dean Smith. Recruited J.R. Reed, Sam Perkins, and Kenny Smith, and the list goes on. James Worthy, it's just crazy. You just keep going on. And I had worked North Carolina's camp for a lot of years. I actually met Coach Smith first at the National Sports Festival. Okay. Coach Smith was on the selection committee for the Olympic team. Okay. And we had the National Sports Festival in Syracuse. I was a venue coordinator. Coach Smith asked me if I would sit down with him for 10 minutes before every practice so that he could correspond the names and the numbers with all the kids on the East, the West, the Midwest, the East, and the South, so he could quickly make his evaluation and then decide, and then left. He was only there for a day. Yeah. So Brendan Malone, who was a longtime NBA coach, was on our staff, and Brendan said, "You got to ask Coach Smith to work camp. Go down and work camp. If you don't go down and ask him to work camp, I'm going to tell everybody you got no balls." I was a 21-year-old kid. I can't have a coach walking around saying I got no balls. So I went down there and I nicely and very sheepishly asked Coach Smith, "Can I work camp?" And he goes, "Well, Rick, I don't really work our camp, but Bill Guthridge works our camp. Write me a letter and then we'll see what we can do." They invited me down for a week. Then next summer I did 2 weeks, and next summer I did 3 weeks, and I got to meet Eddie Fogler and Roy Williams, and it was interesting because Eddie and Roy both said whichever one got a head coaching job first, they were going to hire me. The problem was neither one were ever going to leave because it was such a great program and a great situation. So I said, yeah, all right, good. I really appreciate it, knowing that they were never going to leave. Yeah. And one year we get beat by Navy with David Robinson. Oh, yeah. At Syracuse in the NCAA tournament, which was the last year you could play on your home court in the NCAA tournament. Okay. We had beaten Navy in the Carrier Classic in November by a lot. But our guys didn't take it really serious. They came in. Now, these guys are taught to go to war. Yeah, no, they're in the Navy Academy. They're tough. Yeah. Mentally and physically tough. Yeah. And then they came in there and kicked our butts pretty good. Yeah. And, it was just time to get out of Syracuse for a few days and went down to the regional. And when I was down at the regional with some friends, somebody told me Eddie Fogler took the Wichita State job. Yes. I said, no way. And then I saw Mr. Gavitt, Dave Gavitt. Sure. Coming out of the Meadowlands, and I asked him, I said, "What do you know about Wichita State?" And I don't think he realized I had a relationship with Eddie, and he pointed his finger in my chest. He goes, "If Eddie Fogler will hire you, take the job." Yeah. And I got back Sunday, and Eddie called me. I was sitting at the house, and the phone rang, and I'm shocked to be a shocker. I said, "I'm shocked you're a shocker." And then one thing led to another. Went to the Final Four, which was in Dallas that year. Yeah. Flew up to Wichita State for 2 days. I flew in Wednesday. I went up there Thursday. He brought me back Friday. A guy by the name of Mike Cohen, who's a Jersey guy, who's now living in Florida. We both flew up together, took the job, went back, told Coach Boeheim outside a reunion, I took the job, and he says, "No, you should take the job. You know, you're an idiot if you don't." And I was with Eddie Fogler for 15 years. Yes. 3 at Wichita, 4 at Vanderbilt, and 8 at South Carolina.
So we're going to talk about that, right? Because this is what amazed me about you, right? So, and you're a humble dude. So let's try to remove the veil of that humility a little bit tonight. No, seriously, I really mean that, because I know where this is going to go. But I want it to go somewhere, because I'm amazed. I was in Division I. I was an assistant, and I have tremendous respect, because you guys are doing a lot more than we ever got done at Hampton. And they say that a great head coach is only as good as his assistants. Okay, now we know Eddie Fogler's great, but at Wichita State and the 2 at Vandy, correct?
4 at Vanderbilt.
And South Carolina, correct? Mm-hmm. how many, at those places, how many times was Coach Fogler voted Coach of the Year? I believe at one of those he was voted National Coach of the Year.
Yes, at Vanderbilt.
Yes.
Right.
So I was floored when I read that, because for him to receive those accolades mean you must have been a hell of a dude at your job.
Well,
so
that's
talk.
nice of you to say.
No, come on, it's real.
Eddie
It's
Fogler
real.
was one of the really great college basketball coaches
I agree.
who retired way before his time.
I agree, but they
Should've
can't.
done it longer.
They can't do it alone, though. Would you agree with
I
that?
appreciate that. Yep, it's a hard job to do.
It's a hard job to do alone. So talk about those experiences prior to Monmouth and what those days were like, where you're working alongside a National Coach of the Year, because you guys got shit done. Like, I started looking at all the records of you as an assistant working with Coach Fogler. I was like, oh my gosh, they got a lot of stuff done. SEC championships, correct?
We were very lucky in a lot of ways, and we were at some very good places. And Coach Fogler, like I said, is a great coach.
Yep.
Who got out probably way before his time, but certainly understand why, and one of the reasons why he wanted to get out. And
Oh yeah, he made it very, very clear in a couple articles on the internet I was reading. He's like,
Absolutely.
he goes right down
He
the
was
list. He's like,
tired.
this
He-
is
he
it,
was
this is it,
tired
this
of
is it.
recruiting
Done.
process.
Yeah.
yeah.
So what were some of the best things that you felt like you accomplished in those years? Not at Monmouth, we're not at Monmouth yet. What were some of the best things that you accomplished in those years of which you're the proudest, and who were some of the best players that you were fortunate to be around? Now listen, I know that list is super long. It's always hard to, when people say to me as a high school coach or at Hampton, like, who are some of the best players you've ever seen? Coach, JSBL, all those conversations happen.
Right.
So now I'm doing it to you. I know that there's tremendous respect for everybody who's ever put sweat and blood on the floor for you. I get that. There are some, however, I think coaches can talk coach talk,
Right.
that rise above some others. That we'd be fools to say there aren't.
Well, to make it a little shorter, my entire time at Syracuse was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I didn't have an appreciation for what I was going through as a young kid. You know, I
Sure.
was 21 to 27 at the time, and it was at the height of the Big East. We had just closed Manley Fieldhouse, opened up the Carrier Dome.
Yep.
The Big East exploded. ESPN exploded. Nobody really even knew what ESPN was in 1980. Really,
Dave Gavitt, right?
You're right. Dave Gavitt started, and you know what was funny? ESPN had the little Australian rules football with the little men in the white coats doing this, with a field goal or whatever they called that. And that's what was on ESPN
Yeah.
in the early days during the day, during the week.
Yeah.
And then obviously the Big East exploded, and kids in LA and the West Coast were coming home from school at dinner time at 5 o'clock, turning on the Big East games, and it was, we had St. John's and Georgetown.
It was war every night.
It was incredible.
It was war every night.
Every night.
Did you see the 30 for 30 Requiem for the Big East?
Yes.
And
Yes.
everybody should see that.
Great.
Because
Right.
kids today who
It
call
was
foul,
spectacular.
like, oh, that was a foul. Bitch, watch that show. That was not a
Exactly.
foul.
No
You
question.
have no idea what a foul was until you saw that 30 for 30.
There were no coaches' boxes then. Coaches were running up and down. Billy Rafferty and Boeheim were yelling at each other. Coach Thompson and Boeheim were yelling at each other. Louis was going nuts. Rolly Massimino, Villanova was going nuts. It was crazy.
It was part of entertainment.
It was incredible.
Yep.
It was incredible. Georgetown, we got 33,000 people for every Georgetown game. St. John's, 31. Yeah, I remember when we first went to the Dome, everybody said, if we could get 15,000 people, it would be great.
Shit.
Because the Dome was built for football,
Yeah, of
for
course.
Syracuse football. They took down Archibald and built the Dome, and then they moved basketball over there. And they were going to just be happy to get 15 in.
Yeah.
First year sold 17,000 season tickets.
Yeah.
Second year was 19,000 season tickets. The third year was 21,000.
Yeah.
All the way up to it was almost 24,000. I think at one time we got up as far as 26,000 season tickets.
Season tickets.
Season tickets.
Crazy.
26,000.
Crazy.
And then we had games where they sold restricted viewing, and it had 33, 31, 32,000 seats in there multiple times.
Yeah.
It was insane.
That's awesome.
And people would come from work and be out there. They were 10 deep watching us warm up. And I was a 22-year-old kid.
I was just gonna say.
Like, wow, I thought this was like college basketball. It was like that all over the country.
No.
Not close.
Not close.
Not close. Not close.
Not close.
And it was a spectacular time. And Coach Boeheim was like a surrogate father to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still close to him today. I'm excited to see his success,
Yeah.
continued success. It's really great to watch him and his relationship with his son, Buddy.
Yes.
And it's pretty special, and it's just totally unique. And,
Yeah.
I even thought about maybe jumping in an airplane here at the end of the week.
Oh,
and
you
going
should.
down
That's
there.
awesome.
It would be great, and I'm happy for him. It's great.
That's
it really,
awesome.
really is good.
You mentioned 5-star. I was fortunate. I worked for Gar for 12 years, so I was
Right.
able to rub elbows with everybody, and they're just great guys. They're great
Great
guys.
guy.
Everyone
Tommy
sees what.
Kuchowski,
Yeah.
who
Oh,
was
God
passed
rest his soul.
recently,
Yeah.
right? And Garth passed away,
Yep,
obviously.
yep.
And great coaches. Hubie Brown was there. Rick Tatino was just starting to be the great lecturer and coach at the time. And it was a phenomenal time to start in college basketball.
Yeah.
And I was very, very lucky. I was very, very fortunate to get that start. And then somebody else, actually Rick left Syracuse, which kind of created an opening at Syracuse. Then I was able to become a graduate assistant.
Mm-hmm.
And then I taught activities courses in the PE department, teaching. Then went to graduate school at night, and then practiced during the day.
That's
So
awesome.
I had the best time of my life.
That is
I was
awesome.
sleeping about 6 hours, going out every night on Marshall Street, going to school, coaching, doing teaching. It was a good time.
You were living the dream.
I had a
Still
ball. I
living
was
the dream.
living the dream. I'm
That's
still
awesome.
absolutely. I'm 60. I'll be 63 in July. I'm still living the dream.
Yeah, that's awesome.
absolutely.
And so you go from Syracuse, you go with Coach Fogler to all those places. What any most rewarding experiences or ones that really stand out in your mind?
Yeah, the year that we were at Vanderbilt, nobody thought Vanderbilt could ever get to that level. We won the ACC championship there, and to be very honest with you, we won it with a bunch of guys who couldn't dunk from a standstill.
Remind some of the people, the players on that team.
Well, we had Billy McCaffrey who transferred in the year before. It's interesting. We had recruited Matt Maloney, who's a Jersey kid, from Willingboro, outside of Philadelphia. Father was a great coach at Temple with Coach Cheney. So Matt came down. He was a freshman. We signed a player by the name of John Amici, who ended up playing in the NBA and really had a lot of success. Was in the league for a long time. Who ended up transferring. He transferred to Penn State after his freshman year. Maloney transferred to. First of all, they both went to Penn State, and then Matt left and went back to, I believe, Penn.
Okay.
All right, so he went back home. That year they were freshmen. McCaffrey and a kid by the name of Chris Lawson, who was in Indiana with Coach Knight, and Billy was just coming off his MVP year at Duke, transferred to Vanderbilt, and they sat out. Those guys on that second team was kicking their butts every single day.
No way.
Then they became eligible the following year, and we won the SEC. The other two guys transferred. Fast forward 5 years, Maloney and Michi in the NBA, Lawson and McCaffrey never played the NBA, but won an SEC championship. And Billy McCaffrey was co-player of the year with Jamal Mashburn.
Oh, wow.
In the SEC, the year that we won it. We were tied for the regular season with Kentucky that year.
That's awesome.
So that team was really special because nobody really thought we were very good. And literally, we might not have had. We had a young freshman by the name of Ronnie McMahon. Other than that, we probably didn't have anybody else could dunk the ball on a standstill. And but we could guard. We had a 45-second. That's how old I am. We had a 45-second shot clock back then. We would run motion offense, rear screen people left and right. They didn't know what was going on. You couldn't guard us for 45 seconds. You just couldn't. And they were really good defensively. And I remember, because one of those years we were at Vanderbilt, we played down at Auburn, and that was the night that we had the first Gulf War. And we invaded.
92. Around 92, 93.
Exactly.
Wow.
Right. So I remember that like it was yesterday because it was such a moving night that night. We didn't know whether or not we were going to play it or not, and we were sitting in the Auburn locker room whether or not we were going to play. We had a really, really good team, fun team to be around. Really fun. I went to a reunion in February.
Oh, no kidding.
With Coach Fogler. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, that's awesome. That had to be great
Yeah, it
getting
was
together
great.
with the guys.
It was really, really good.
That's awesome. So now let's talk about so I just want to give you props because I'm telling you, I know you as, like we said, ball busting, good friendship and everything else, but man, my respect for you, I had no idea you helped Coach Fogler accomplish all that he did over the years.
Well,
So
we had other good
something.
assistants as well. A guy by the name of Neil Doherty, who passed away. Jeff Lebo was on our staff 1 year at Vanderbilt, and then
Yep.
2 at South Carolina. We
Yep.
had good staffs, good camaraderie,
Yep.
good basketball players, good kids.
Yep. And it's interesting to me too, because we know this in college basketball. A lot of it is family. A lot of it is trust, right?
Absolutely.
So it sounds like you guys really kept things in the family, whether it be Syracuse or Carolina, et cetera, right?
Correct.
So now that brings us to Monmouth, right? With your relationship with King Rice, North Carolina guy. How have your experiences been at Monmouth? And talk about the year. And listen, he's won the MAC Coach of the Year 2 years in a row now. Is this the
3 out of
third?
the last 6.
3 out of the last 6. Another.
It
Again,
was
you're
great.
now.
I'm happy for him. It was great.
Yeah, he's doing
He
great.
did
but-
a phenomenal job this year.
Yeah, and I remember the 1 year. Remember the year where your bench was known.
We had the bench mob.
You
right.
had the bench mob. Everyone
Right.
knew you for the bench mob, but the bench mob was great. But you were. I mean, who?
Our team was really good then.
Your team beat like 6 major D1s.
Our team was very,
Right,
very
you beat. I remember. Tell me if I'm wrong. UCLA that year.
Yeah, we opened up and went to UCLA. Our first game, we beat them at UCLA.
Notre Dame,
And then we played Notre Dame in the Advocare tournament in Orlando.
Georgetown,
Georgetown later in the year.
Right.
At Georgetown.
and then who were the other? You had a couple other major D1s.
Southern Cal. We played Southern Cal in the Advocare. Actually, Southern Cal beat us. We went to Southern Cal and played them out there. Then we went to the neutral court in Advocare and then beat them at the Advocare.
So the one thing I was joking about, listen, I went to Villanova.
let's not
No,
even go there.
stop. No, we're not going to go there. That's nothing bad. So I went to Villanova, and as you know, the first cigar I released ever was with Coach Massimino, and Jay and I have a good relationship. And it was funny because I said to you guys, Villanova used to play Monmouth every year, and all of a sudden when you beat USC, UCLA, Georgetown, Notre Dame, I didn't see him on the schedule anymore. So then I called you, Stevie, I don't know. You know, and nothing ever happened. But I always thought that was funny because I was looking at the schedule because I always looked forward to you guys playing Villanova because I got my master's at Monmouth. And by the way, when I was on the intramural team, I have a broken backboard to my name in the intramural league at Monmouth. Very proud of that fact. But we had so much fun back then. Monmouth is really dear to me. And as you know, I worked with the Monmouth assistant, Kevin Nickelberry.
Absolutely.
So when he used to come down, he was really trying to find a spot for Alpha Bangor or whatever. We developed a great relationship. In the summer, I got done coaching Jason Thompson. The second the game was over, Nick called me and said, listen, I haven't a guy just left. I need somebody. I want you down here. So it was actually my entree into college Division I basketball was through Monmouth. Right? So it was great. I love Monmouth University.
Nick did a great job there and then a great job at Howard as well.
Yes, he did.
Yeah,
yes, he did. So you guys are kicking ass at Monmouth right now. What do you look forward to on a regular daily basis in and out of working with King? Because I heard a rumor, I'm not going to ask you to confirm, deny nothing, but a lot of newspapers are now saying, starting to guess, if Coach Williams were to ever retire, who might the replacement be? And King's on that short list. I don't know if you read those same articles, but I'm just...
No, I didn't read those
Yeah,
articles.
so I'm just mentioning that and moving on, but gosh, what a great thing that would be.
I would just say he'd be a great candidate. Let's
Yeah.
say that,
Oh,
you know.
I think he'd be
Coach Williams
phenomenal.
isn't going to retire anytime soon. He loves what he's doing.
You know
He's
the
got a lot
media.
of
You know,
energy.
when they have nothing to write about, they write about anything. So you know that. What are your thoughts on, so Monmouth right now, where do you guys stand? How excited for you are for the future of the current team?
We're very excited. We're excited. Let's not kid ourselves. This has been a very trying year for all the coaches at all levels.
Yep.
Division I, Division II, no matter what league you're in, whether you're in the MAC, whether you're at the Big East, whether you're in the Big 12. It was a very, very difficult year. It was a very difficult year for the players, the constant adjustments. I always say this, people have no understanding what the players sacrificed.
Oh.
The only time they had fun was the 2 hours that they were at practice.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't hang out with their buddies. They had to go back to the dorms. They couldn't eat in the dining hall. So they were by themselves pretty much the entire day. The only time they were with their friends, with their buddies are on the team, was the 2.5 hours that we had them in practice. Mm-hmm. So one of the great things I think Coach Rice did was he made a commitment to make sure they had fun 2 hours.
That's awesome.
No matter what it was. We didn't grind it out. We didn't have crazy defensive drills. We weren't doing blocking charge drills. We were just having fun. enjoying the opportunity to play because it was taken away from us very quickly.
Yeah.
So it was important that when we started back up in fall to Coach Rice that we would make sure the kids had fun when we had them.
Yep.
And they had fun. We played.
Yeah.
We scrimmaged. We coached through scrimmaging. We didn't do it through drills.
Yeah.
Few drills, but
Yeah.
not a lot.
Yeah.
And I think all our kids responded to that. Have fun. We used to say when we first started coaching, good players make good coaches.
Yeah.
All right. In today's environment, happy players make good coaches.
Yeah.
Because happy players will play hard for you.
Yeah.
So
they
as
will.
long as they're happy and they're doing what you're asking them to do and they're happy, you're going to have good camaraderie. You're going to have good team chemistry. They're going to play hard for you.
Yeah.
The winning and the losing will take care of itself.
Yeah, you don't want a team that's dreading going to practice.
No,
not at all.
And you don't want to go to,
Right.
if you're dreading going to practice. If they are dreading, you're dreading.
Yeah.
So
That's
you know how
not
that
a good
works.
look. That's not
Right.
a good look at all. So take watchers, right? So people who really, they know the tournament, everyone's filling out the brackets now and everything else like that. Talk about, you've been there, so talk about what goes behind the preparation. How does life change for a college basketball team as you get closer to March? Does the preparation change? Does the film, we used to tape exchange, film exchange, and everything else. Talk to people about the prep.
What you try to do is, as a coach, as you're building up to that, to try and keep everything as normal as possible. Now, the change is for the staff, because now your kids are feeling it, the staff is feeling it. The more games you win, the more pressure your kids are feeling, the more pressure you're feeling as a coaching staff, because now each game becomes that much more important. Whether you're fighting for a better seed in your conference tournament, or you're fighting for more wins to try and get a better seed should you not win your conference tournament, and you're going to get an at-large bid.
Yep.
Now, fast forward 20 years later, I would say, when you're in a one-bid league, this is the first time I've been in a one-bid league, you really want pressure. Pressure is having to win 3 or 4 games or you don't go.
Yeah.
That's pressure.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If you have a good year in one of those Power 5, Power 6 leagues, you're probably going to go.
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily have that pressure to win that tournament in order to go to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
All right? So that is serious pressure at our level to try and get there. I really felt like we had a team that was good enough to win it all.
Yeah.
And you try and not let the kids have to feel the pressure of having to win it. Just go out and have fun, play hard, more importantly, and good things usually happen.
Yeah.
We got upset by a good Fairfield team that was playing well at the time. But a lot more pressure on your staff for your preparation, because now as you get into tournament time, you're preparing for 3 or 4 different opponents. So each coach has got a different scout, and then you're preparing. You have less time to prepare, and then when you get to the NCAA tournament, you got 3 or 4 potential opponents. Each assistant takes one of them, and then you're scrambling. You're staying up all night watching your 5 tapes, before you in the hopes that you get to play one of them. And then what's funny, and then at some point in time you get beat, and you stand there like, all right, what do I do now?
Yeah.
And you go for like a 2-week decompression.
Yeah.
And you're just like, I had a guy tell me today, you go in the fetal position for about 2 weeks, and then you slowly come out of it.
Yeah.
I had a coach tell me that today.
I believe it.
He said, you're in fetal position. I say, it's 2 weeks Wednesday. I'm just coming out of the fetal position.
Well, I'm glad you got out in time for the show tonight. Thank
Absolutely.
you so much.
I wouldn't miss this. Yeah,
So
for sure.
who do you like in this? Who do you like going forward now in the tournament? Who do you think looks really, really good?
Well, let me say this. This is the most different tournament we've ever had. Because, in my opinion, this is really and truly the most level playing field we've ever had.
Yes.
Okay?
Do you think that's why we're seeing so many?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
100%. A few things with that. Number one is there's no fans. So you don't have momentum changes other than the ones that you create on the floor when you're playing.
Yep.
All right? Referees don't get influenced by large crowds, whether you're yelling, screaming, or not.
Yep.
All right? Not that I'm saying they do, but it's human nature.
I got you.
Right, it's human
Of course,
nature.
Of course.
The other side of it is when my experiences with the NCAA are twofold. When I was going to a lot of NCAAs, we didn't have the pods, so they tried to reward your first number 1 seeds and your 2 seeds to be as close as possible, but sometimes they had to move you to a different bracket. And I remember one year we were a 2 seed. I was watching a game the other day, and it came up 2 seeds beating, 15 seeds beating 2 seeds, and there it was, South Carolina and Coppin State. And I went, oh, hell, you had to bring that up.
Yeah.
But we were at Pittsburgh.
From the MEAC.
Right. we had to go play in the Igloo at Pittsburgh, which is a 3-hour drive from 4-hour drive to Coppin State.
Yeah.
That whole Igloo was filled with Coppin State fans, and then a bunch of other fans. Texas was there at the time.
Yeah.
And we did, Coppin really made, the pressure is if those teams can kind of keep it close, the pressure turns on a better seat.
Oh, sure. That happened to us when we played Maryland.
Right. That gets crazy.
If Vasquez didn't hit that 3, we were going to beat Maryland. And Maryland was, we walked into that. We're changing on a high school stage in Jacksonville in conference. And then you go play an out-of-conference team like Maryland, and you look at the championship trophy right there. It was just a different world.
Exactly.
And I remember Nick looked and goes, this is why they can't lose to a school like Hampton.
Right.
And damn it, if Vasquez didn't hit that 3, we would have had him.
And then you have upsets when they don't make that shot. And so then fast forward 5-10 years, they started moving. Even if you were 1 or 2 seed in the West, they still allowed you to play in Greensboro if it was close to your school, because they moved the pods so that you can be closer to home and get more fans to the 1 or the 2 seeds to go there.
Yeah.
And that makes a huge difference.
Gigantic
Difference. I remember one year South Carolina, after I left, North Carolina, they had moved the site from Greensboro to Greenville, South Carolina, because they had the bathroom issue a few years ago.
Yep.
And so now they're playing the first round games in Greenville.
Yep.
North Carolina's there, Duke is there, and South Carolina's there. North Carolina played earlier, they win. South Carolina's got to play Duke.
Yeah.
Well, all the North Carolina fans want Duke to get beat.
Yeah.
And all the South Carolina fans who are in South Carolina at Greenville want South Carolina. It was a road game for Duke.
Yeah.
And that's how that whole thing changes.
Wow.
When we were at Coppin, playing Coppin State, we were like America's team. Everybody loved us.
Yeah.
And then Coppin keeps it close. Their fans are going crazy, and now all of a sudden the whole building changes because everybody wants to see the underdog pull the upper side.
Yep.
And Fogel looked at me and he goes, "Can you believe this shit's happening?" And it was like, I wanted to go on top. We took the trolley up there to eat that night. It was like taking 2 shots of arsenic and call it a day. That's what I wanted to do. It was crazy. It was insane. And those are just some things that stick out to me about the tournament.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know it's hard for you to put a prediction because you're in. So for people who don't understand, let's just bring me back to when I was at Hampton. If somebody asked me the same question, if I were to answer that, it's almost like you're showing favoritism to one or the other.
Right.
It gets back to you. So if you're feeling that, you don't have to answer it.
No.
But there are certain teams I like. Like I think, I went to Villanova. I think Villanova is a 5 seed. They treated North Texas like they should have been a 12, but now they get Baylor number 1. I think if Villanova can get by Baylor, I think they have a decent shot.
And Villanova guys have been there.
Yeah.
They understand it.
Yeah.
They know what it takes to win.
Do you think that matters?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it really does.
What do you think about the guys? I've noticed, one thing I've noticed, and I loved Rick Pitino when he said this, when his guys would win a big game, when he was starting at some new schools, he'd say, act like you've been here before.
Correct.
So I see some of these young, lower seeds winning, and then they're celebrating, the coaches hugging, jumping up and grasping like legs off the ground and everything else like that, and it's almost like, I would caution them to act like that because now they almost feel like they've already won a tournament and there's not going to be a lot left in the tank mentally,
or
physically, emotionally
right.
for the next game. Right. Is there something to be said for that?
There is something to be said for that, but I think we have graduated with the tournament the way it is right now, and we have graduated as a sport. There is so much parity in college basketball. College basketball is dominated by guards.
Yes.
There are good guards all over the country.
Yeah.
Every team who's won and is one of those 68 teams have a good team.
Yeah.
In order to have a good team, you got to have good guard play.
Yeah.
So everybody has good guard play. There's that much difference between all the teams.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who plays the hardest?
Yeah.
Like, whoever thought Amos,
Yeah.
the great guard from Oral Roberts.
Yeah.
All right? He's as good as any guard there is in the tournament right now. Nobody knew about him.
Yeah.
We had Justin Robinson. He might have
loved
been
him.
one of the really good guards that year in all of college basketball.
Yep.
You know, we just didn't, we got upset and we didn't get there for him to see that. So I think there's good guards everywhere.
Yep.
And there's such parity. And then we're really playing at a venue where it is the most level playing field you could ever have for a national championship.
Yeah.
There are no fans.
Yeah.
There's empty gyms
Wow.
for all intents and purposes, and all the players are good. All the teams are good,
Yeah.
and so it's not, that's what I think why we're seeing such great basketball. Maybe the best we've ever seen.
That's
And we'll
awesome.
never get back to that again because we're going to move it to all the different sites, and you got to do it. And the fan element is very important.
Yeah.
But from a purist standpoint, we've seen some of the greatest games in one single tournament we've ever seen before in our lives.
That's awesome. Well, Coach, I know you're a busy
Steve,
man.
this has
but
been great.
This,
I've enjoyed it.
I really thank you. And
Appreciate
listen,
you doing your research.
Oh, come
I like
on, man.
that.
I
Thank
loved
you.
it. I absolutely
Thank
loved it. I
you.
was blown
Yeah,
away by that.
appreciate it.
And I will say, I hope everybody noticed he didn't answer the question. I'm not going to hold him to the fire on it. But Coach
I
Callahan,
forgot what the question was.
who do you think's going to come out of here good? Give
Yeah.
me two of the.
Here's what, and everyone's going to say this. I've heard a lot of coaches that have played against Gonzaga this year on different. I've heard a lot of coaches who have done that.
Yeah.
Everyone knows how good they are. Every coach who's played against them, and hey, obviously none of them beat them. But what you don't understand until you play them is just how big and physical they really are. So not only they're very, very good and they're very skilled, they're very strong and very physical. And that's what opposing coaches who are good coaches who have played them, I've heard them talk about it post-game on shows during the day, how physically imposing Gonzaga really is.
All right. Well, I'm going to take that as the answer. Everybody heard it here from Coach Callahan himself. Look out for Gonzaga.
But I like the orange. Look out for the 2-3. Look out for the 2-3 zone, baby. Don't let that go.
Well, Coach, thank you
Thanks,
so
Steve.
much. It was
I
so
appreciate it.
good to see you. Thanks for
Thank
taking
you.
the time.
Appreciate
to be here.
you very much. Thank you.
All right, awesome.
Very
Everybody,
good.
if you get a chance, go out and catch a Monmouth basketball game this year. You'll see me there.
Thank
All right,
you for
everybody,
having
thanks
me.
for watching. Have a great night, and thanks for watching the show. Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you. That was great.